Long before modern Malaysia existed, the lands of the Malay Peninsula and Borneo were busy trading hubs. Imagine ports filled with ships from China, India, and the Middle East. People did not use money like we do today. Instead, they often used a system called barter trade. This meant they would exchange goods directly. For example, a trader might offer a bag of spices for a block of valuable tin. Tin was very important here. The region was famous for it. This metal was so common and useful that it became one of the first forms of money. People would shape it into small, animal-shaped pieces or simple blocks to use for buying and selling. As trade grew more complex, different forms of currency started to appear. Local sultanates began creating their own unique money. In places like Kedah and Johor, you could find tiny gold coins called kupang. These were beautiful, but very valuable, so they were not used for everyday shopping. For smaller purchases, people needed something else. This led to the creation of coins from less expensive metals. The pitis, made of tin, was very common. Another important coin was the kapang, which was often made of copper. These local coins showed that the economy was growing and becoming more organized. The kapang coins were especially interesting. They were inspired by Chinese cash coins and even had a square hole in the middle. This design made them easy to string together, which was very practical for carrying them around. Hundreds of these coins could be tied onto a single string. They were used across the Malay archipelago for centuries. The use of copper showed that people understood the value of different metals. Gold was for big transactions, silver for medium ones, and copper or tin for the daily market trips. This system worked well for a long time, laying the groundwork for the coins that would come later. This rich history of early money shows that Malaysia has always been a place of trade and innovation. From simple barter to tin animals and copper kapang, the people of this land found many ways to create value and exchange goods. These early currencies were not just tools for trade, they were also symbols of the power and wealth of the local kingdoms. They tell a story of a vibrant and connected society long before the arrival of outsiders. This legacy of trade and currency would soon face a big change with the arrival of European powers, who brought their own ideas about money. The arrival of the British in the 19th century brought major changes to the region's currency. In 1826, the British established the Straits Settlements, which included Penang, Malacca, and Singapore. To make trade easier and more uniform, they decided to introduce their own standardized coins. Before this, a mix of Spanish silver dollars, Indian rupees, and local coins were all being used at the same time. It was confusing. The British wanted a single, reliable currency system. Their solution was to create coins specifically for the Straits Settlements, and copper played a key role from the very beginning. The first official coins for the Straits Settlements were issued in 1845. These were copper coins, and they came in denominations of Media Group, display of 1845 Straits, Settlements 1 cent, half cent, and quarter cent copper coins. Image, a close-up of an 1845 Straits Settlements 1 cent copper coin, showing the portrait of Queen Victoria. Stock could distribute equally, 1 cent, half cent, and quarter cent. This was a big step. For the first time, people in the region had mass-produced identical coins that were accepted everywhere under British control. The coins featured the portrait of Queen Victoria on one side, which was a clear symbol of British authority. On the other side, the value was written in a circle. These coins were minted in India, at the Calcutta and Bombay mints, and shipped over to the Straits Settlements to be used in daily life. As the British influence expanded into the Malay states, so did their currency. This era was known as British Malaya. The design of the coins continued to evolve. After Queen Victoria, King Edward VII, King George V, and King George VI all had their portraits on the coins. The material also saw a slight change. While early coins were pure copper, later ones were made of bronze, which is an alloy of copper and tin. Bronze was harder and more durable, making it a better choice for coins that would be handled by thousands of people every day. These bronze cents became the standard for small transactions across the peninsula. Later, the currency system was reorganized again under the Malaya and British Borneo dollar, which was introduced in 1953. This currency served Media Group Malaya and British Borneo dollar notes and coins, 1950s currency collection from the region stock distribute equally, Malaya, Singapore, Sarawak, North Borneo, and Brunei. The new coins still included a 1-cent piece made of bronze. The design, however, moved away from featuring the British monarch. Instead, it showed a simple crisscross pattern with the value and year. This period marked the final years of colonial currency. The stage was set for Malaysia to create its very own money after it gained independence, building on this long history of copper and bronze coinage. After Malaysia was formed in 1963 and achieved full monetary independence, the country began a new chapter in its currency history. The old Malaya and British Borneo dollar was phased out. In 1967, Bank Negara Malaysia, the central bank, introduced the nation's first ever series of coins. This was a moment of great national pride. The new coins represented Malaysia's identity as a sovereign nation. The series included several denominations, but the smallest was the 1 sen coin. This coin carried on the tradition of using a copper-colored metal, linking the new nation to its rich, numismatic past. The design of the first 1 sen coin was simple, yet powerful. One side featured the brand new Malaysian Parliament building, a symbol of the country's democracy and independence. Above the building were a crescent moon and a 13-pointed star, representing Islam as the official religion, and the 13 states of Malaysia, at the time. The other side of the coin clearly stated its value, 1 sen, along with the year of minting, and the word Malaysia. The coin was made of bronze, giving it that familiar reddish-brown, coppery appearance that people had known for generations. It was a perfect blend of old traditions and new beginnings. This first series of Malaysian coins was designed by Geoffrey Colley, an English artist. His designs were chosen for their elegance and clarity. The choice of bronze for the 1 sen coin was practical. It was a relatively inexpensive yet durable material, perfect for a low-value coin that would see a lot of circulation. For many years, these bronze 1 sen coins were a common sight in every shop, market, and household across the country. They were the small change used for buying sweets, paying for bus fares, and balancing accounts down to the very last cent. The 1 sen coin remained a cornerstone of the Malaysian economy for over 2 decades. It was the physical representation of the smallest unit of the Malaysian ringgit. Children would collect them in piggy banks, and cashiers would carefully count them out. The coin's coppery glow made it instantly recognizable. Although its purchasing power was small, its presence was huge. It was a constant, tangible reminder of the nation's economic system in the pocket of every Malaysian. This bronze era, however, would eventually come to an end as the economy and the cost of metals began to change. By the late 1980s, the world was changing, and so was the cost of metal. The price of copper had risen significantly since the 1960s. This created a problem for the 1 sen coin. A point was reached where the value of the bronze metal in the coin was worth more than its face value of 1 sen. To solve this issue, Bank Negara Malaysia decided to change the material. Starting in 1989, the new 1 sen coins were made from copper-clad steel. This meant they had a core of steel with a thin layer of copper on the outside. This new composition was much cheaper to produce, but kept the traditional copper color. This change in material coincided with the launch of Malaysia's second series of coins. This series, introduced in 1989, is often called the Bunga Raya series, because it featured the national flower, the hibiscus, on one side. The other side of the 1 sen coin now displayed items related to Malaysian culture, such as a traditional spinning top known as a gasing. This new design was a beautiful celebration of local heritage. The copper-clad steel 1 sen coin continued to be a part of daily life, though its importance was starting to fade due to inflation. Over time, prices rose, and very few items could be bought for just 1 sen. As the years went by, the 1 sen coin became less and less relevant in daily transactions. Many shops started rounding prices to the nearest 5 sen, making the 1 sen coin almost obsolete. In 2008, the government officially implemented a rounding mechanism, and Bank Negara Malaysia stopped minting 1 sen coins for general circulation. Although they are still legal tender, you will rarely see them in your change today. Their journey from being an essential part of daily trade to a relic of the past reflects the economic growth and inflation the country has experienced over half a century. Today, these copper and bronze coins are a collector's dream. People who are interested in numismatics or coin collecting seek them out. The original 1967 bronze 1 sen, the copper-clad steel versions, and even the colonial-era copper coins are all pieces of history. Some rare coins, like those with errors from the minting process, can be quite valuable. From the ancient Kepang to the modern 1 sen, Malaysia's copper-colored coins tell a fascinating story. They are not just pieces of metal, they are artifacts that narrate a journey through time, from bustling trading ports to a modern dynamic nation.